Hi guys, this is Bowie from Fear to Stop. Hope you guys are doing okay. Uh, my beautiful pregnant wife Dana is in the background. How you doing, sweetie?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing pretty damn good. Hope everybody's doing all right in this early Wednesday morning. Just kind of give you a rundown. We're still gonna do the part two of the Beach Boys video, probably tomorrow. I haven't decided just yet. Uh, kind of going through a little bit of a problem with a abscess on my jaw that thankfully is finally starting to come down. But it was kind of, it's not the most comfortable thing in the world. I'll just put it like that. But thankfully it's a lot better now. Because, my goodness. Um, so between that and we have a new single coming out. It's gonna be a subject of another video. You guys y'all aren't here to hear me jibber jabber about that stuff. You want to hear the subject of the video. For background music, we're gonna have some of our own music playing in the background at low volume, so we won't get copyright stricken. Uh, I could just have generic stock music, but yeah, why not?
You'll get copyrighted for that too?
I said generic stock music, like
I know.
I mean like the copyright free.
No, I was being funny.
Hey, you never know though. Because some of that limited use, they
Mm-hmm.
may be for like it's copyright free for one thing, but if you use it for another, not knowing any better, they yank your music off real quick. Um, anyway, guys, just to let you know, if you're new to the channel, you know we're in a band, three of us, myself, Dana, our soon-to-be 15-year-old daughter Jamie, three of our friends. We're in a band called Fear to Stop. We obviously make music. We've been doing that for 20 plus years now, almost 21 years in May. Um, the anniversary of the band is a little bit after the due date of our son, so we're old as hell now. But hopefully you like our music, and we do videos on various different topics. Food reviews. We used to, not as much anymore. Or just rants. Uh, we're kind of transitioning more into talking about straight up music in general content. Not just our music, but just music in general. And we're gonna start that off. We're gonna be talking about artists that maybe reputation has changed. Because they say hindsight is 2020, and that is very true. And it's no more true than in the world of music. Now, I'm 43 years old. She's 42.
No, I'm not.
She's 42. All
No,
right.
I'm
She's
not.
born a year right after me. And same age as Pink. That makes me feel old as hell. Because I remember when Pink was, when she first came out, she was for younger viewers, this is going to blow your mind if you didn't notice, but Pink was a generic R&B singer along the lines of someone like Brandy or Monica, except a little bit more generic. Uh, and the second album they wanted her, she had a couple of hits. Uh, Only one of them had any kind of real personality to it. Was Most Girls, and that was the name of the song. And the second album came out. And this is on topic, guys. All right, just bear with me. Uh, all right. She went to the label boss and was like, "Yo, I don't want to do this no more. I want to, do the type of stuff I want to do. I want to be able to write, own stuff." And for a artist who really wasn't that successful and just kind of going up to the at the time one of the biggest names, in music, as far as music producers and label heads go, or management, and to tell them like, "Hey, screw you, clown. We're doing things my way." And this is someone who hasn't had any success. And luckily for her, she had the not only the charisma to pull it off, but she had some really kick-ass tunes that really impressed them, and it was a completely different style from what she was doing previously. And she ended up becoming a star because she took she took the bull by the horns, but the bull by the balls, and just like just took charge. Now, for a long time, she was considered to be, again, consider our age. Uh, she was considered to be someone who was like more edgy. You know, a lot of her lyrics were sarcastic. She was kind of like, in some ways, kind of like a less innocent version of Olivia Rodrigo. Okay, to put things in a different perspective. I bet you never thought of making that comparison, huh?
No.
That's a lot of Olivia Rodrigo channels, except a less well-adjusted version of Olivia Rodrigo, because if Olivia Rodrigo had self-esteem issues, and why I have to say her first and last name like she's Charlie Brown or Bob Rooney, I don't know, but you know, so be it. Pink was always saying stuff kind of like you know, self-deprecating lyrics, you know, like talking about like one of the songs, one of her socks are always dirty, and you know that no one likes her and she's no good at anything, but basically she don't care, you know, screw everybody. You know, she was like the first female artist to do that, which is crazy because you know right now that's kind of like everybody does it. You know, you got everybody from, you know, Olivia Rodrigo. There's that name again. You know, to up and comers like Gail. Up and comers. You know, we're talking about an 18-year-old being an established artist. You know, but to up and comers like Gail with her, you know, her A B C D E F U song. You know, wouldn't have happened without Pink.
That's such an old sounding name, Gil.
I know. But it's Gayle. Alright, as opposed to Gail, which is, I know you're like saying, okay, what's the thing? Because I don't know, the Y gives us some edge. The same reason, one of the reasons why we chose to spell Jamie with, you know, the Y. One of the reasons. So to me, it always looked cooler. Anyway, sorry guys. Where's I going with this? Alright, so yeah, so that's the reputation that, you know, Pink has with us. But you look at it now. We're in 2022, and you look at the songs that she had on the top 100 last year. She had that song with Keith Urban, and she had that song where her 9-year-old, or then 9-year-old daughter sang backup on there, and somewhere along the way, Pink went from being someone who was you know, edgy, and I don't mean corporate edgy. I mean, she was like someone who actually had balls. I mean, not literal balls. I mean, she had them, you know, no balls.
It's a badass, no.
You know, and sorry, it came out so foul, but you know that. But you get what I mean, guys. She had some, you know, some serious gumption, and now she's like a soccer mom, and you look at her career overall in hindsight. And I wonder, does this generation look at her different? Well, obviously, look at her differently than my generation did. Just like, you know, the conversation about the Beach Boys, and that's going to be in part 2. That's one of the things we're going to talk about them and how this applies to them. But this was brought on. We were looking at Spotify's top hits in 1983, and we're looking at the different songs on there. And they had stuff like Lionel Richie, All Night Long, Michael Jackson, Billie Jean. You know, these are the top 100 songs of the year, right? And they had Elton John, I'm Still Standing, Phil Collins, You Can't Hurry Love. And that kind of made me think of something when I saw Phil Collins. Now, Phil Collins, when I was, you know, was our daughter Jamie, she's going to be 15. Okay, when I was 15, I was, oh my God. That was, let's see, 1993, okay? 1993 was a different time in the world. I mean, I almost said Phil Collins was president. Bill Clinton was president. Phil Collins was president. Can you imagine Phil Collins was president? There'd be something in the air tonight, but I'm not sure I would want it in the air to remain there. Excuse me, I had cough when you said that. That's hilarious. Lung tissue. So anyway, no, and it was the last year on that we had people like Kurt Cobain, actually active in music. We lose them unfortunately a year later, and that kind of just things kind of changed after that. But '93 was kind of like a big, in a lot of ways. But that's a subject for another video. 10 years after the video that we're watching now, and jeez, that just blows my mind. I was 5, 1983. And anyway, so Phil Collins was on adult contemporary radio. And this was the type of stuff that if you went to the school counselor's office, for whatever reason, if you got to drop a class or, you're going to cut yourself with a box cutter in journalism or set the school on fire or anything like that. I'm going to take this deeper, like that dude in Office Space. Whatever, you were always in there. This is stuff that was always playing in the radio because they always had to have safe music. You're not gonna. Well, I don't know about now, because things have changed. But you weren't gonna go to like the counselor's office at school and hear y'all won't make me lose my mind, stuff like that up in here.
Honey, that came out after we graduated.
I know, but I'm just using that as an example, honey. I'm just using that as an example. Can you imagine that? Or can you imagine like in '06, like Riding Dirty?
I know, right?
Now, no telling go up there here and whop.
Yeah, like some of these teachers are like actually sleeved out now.
I know. I'm
some
like
of James teachers. They're
yeah,
like
there's no
sleeved
more.
out. It's crazy.
It's a sign of the times. Well, we had a lot of blue hair strumpets. When I was her age, teaching and stuff or subbing. Now it's like you got people look like banditos. Being I'm the guidance counselor. I go, dude looks like Debo. Really showing my age there. Speaking of the '90s. But yeah, so Phil Collins was on adult contemporary radio. That a lot of one more night, stuff like that. And I didn't quite nail that vocal. I'm sorry. But then again, maybe it's a good thing because maybe the algorithm will pick up on it's a copyrighted song. That's what they do. But yeah. So that was the type of stuff when I was 13 really 15 that you made fun of people who listen to that stuff. That's the stuff that soccer moms or grandmas listen to. That was old people music, or certain slurs that you wouldn't use now or shouldn't have ever used to begin with. You called or got called that if you listen to stuff like that. And see, I listened to it because of my dad. When my dad was an older gentleman. He was when I was born, he was 3 years older than I am now. He'll be when my son's born in a few months. Yikes! That puts things in perspective. We have our kids late. Yeah, so.
Doesn't have Jamie that late.
No, but we're having kids late, and just like my dad didn't have his other son, that late either. To my mom, his other kid. Mentioning my names like Beetlejuice or Candyman. Dare say his name or that other dude, the dude with no nose in the Harry Potter movies, Lord whatever, Lord Vanderbilt, or Voldemort, whatever his name is. What's his name? Windermere? No, that's a place in General Hospital. I can't think of Voldemort. There you go. I couldn't think. I know, but I couldn't think of his name. I said Windermere because that's that place in General Hospital that Valentine lives in. In a little shack. It's kind of like everybody in the soap operas got like that one place they live in. Like, I live in Landfair. Who's called a landfill? Where do you live? I live in a landfill.
Casa de Bonita.
Casa de, how do you say trash? Basura. There you go. Casa de Basura.
Fucked that one up big time.
Language, hon. I don't have to put an 18 or up video. So lame. Yeah, that's neither here nor there. So anywho, uh, so this is the type of stuff that you didn't really, my generation, you did not listen to. I got hell for listening to Rod Stewart and Mr. Toe Licker himself.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, apparently Rod Stewart likes to like. This is from his wife. Okay, this isn't me pulling stuff. Like a magician pulling out a rabbit from a hat. This is actual legit, gospel truth. But Rod Stewart's wife Penny said in an interview that when they first got married or first started dating, or I don't know, one of the things that got his jollies off was looking between her toes. And now, every time I think of Rod Stewart, I picture an elderly man on all fours, his hands and knees groveling, like that, and barking like a dog. Lick me toes. His little spiky hair. All white. Oh my God. That's how I'm going to think of Rod Stewart for all of the rest of his days, and probably the rest of mine too. That is just messed up. And yet at one time, I remember, and again, this is part of the same discussion. I remember being a teenager, ironically, about the same age we're talking about now, about 14, 15 years old, and going with my dad to Target and going through like the discount cassettes, the kinds you get for like 99 cents and stuff, and that they all had like a crack, like on the side, and I guess it was to mark that was the discount one.
Mm-hmm.
And it had stuff like greatest rock hits of the '70s, volume 16, and stuff like that. And they all had like clever names, like one of them had like Rock's Bad Boys or something like that. And they had people like Ted Nugent, which I wouldn't call him a bad boy, more like a dumb ass. He used to say that. Fuck
I'm
that,
not
man.
even gonna go there.
Oh, Ted Nugent can go suck a root. Which I'm sure would trigger him. But that's a man who apparently likes triggers. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. And it had like all these people like Alice Cooper and stuff like that on there, and Kiss. How people wore makeup and stuck their tongues out were considered to be badasses. Again, perspective. I don't know. When he went disco and when he did Beth, that kind of destroyed any kind of badassery that Kiss had to me as a kid. Even though now, actually going back, thanks to Jamie, who actually likes Kiss, I'm starting to reevaluate them a little bit. But still, again, perspective. That generation saw them as being, all edgy and everything, and they're like, what the hell are these people? I still think the image is kind of like, what the fuck, but, excuse my language, WTF, but, whatever. Anyway, it's not like this video's monetized. So anyway, Rod Stewart was on that. It was on a list on the cassette tape. It said "Bad Boys of Rock," and it was the song I heard because Dad had a cassette, and I may actually still have it somewhere, maybe in storage, maybe in a suitcase somewhere, along with the rest of our cassettes. That song, I remember listening to wow, the guy's screaming. And because I was familiar with Rod Stewart, but I was more familiar with his his '80s work. Some guys have all the luck. Infatuation, Forever Young. So I thought of Rod Stewart's an '80s guy. And hearing him, kind of like screaming, and I'm hearing guitar because it was Ron Wood and guitar. It's basically the Faces, on there, and Rod singing with him. And if you only know Rod Stewart is the elderly man who likes to lick toes, you may be shocked to know that one time he was he was in the band of Faces. They were kind of more like he's my generation, kind of someone more like Jet or the Black Keys, that type of style, or this generation a UK version of Måneskin. You know, if you want to go that route. And that's kind of hard to believe, you know, not just now, where, you know, Mr. Tolicker, but, you know, Mr. Foot Fetish dude, Mr. Tarantino, Mr. Dan Schneider, Mr. Stewart himself, but at one time he was considered to be a pimp. Not an actual pimp. He didn't have like a, no, I mean, actually he did have a hat like that, but he was yeah, to use our generation's terminology. I don't know what this generation would call him, what Gen Z would call those types, but yeah, he got around. You know, he ran, got around, he got around, for real.
When he was in the hood, the street's name was called Player. Think about that for a second.
It was very hard to believe now, but yeah, this guy was, he had something that, at different times, but yeah, he would brag about, he didn't necessarily brag about it, was part of his image was how many different women he was with. You know, like, and when I say that, I don't mean that in today's, you know, we're not talking about Drake, alright? Please, I don't like that dude. A whole other story, but it's more, compared to Rod Stewart, Drake is like, if we're talking about on a scale of chick magnets, we got Rod Stewart and Drake would be like, you know, whatever. But in the comparison, he's more along the lines of someone like, I'm trying to think of someone who's out there today.
What, that's like sexy or
No, like somebody is, he would be more like Louis Capaldi, you know?
Yeah. Oh, that's bad.
No, because I'm talking about like as far as like having like that mojo, you know, because you know Drake's known for being, you know, like with the ladies, he's supposed to be like, you know, whatever the hell stuff he does, you know, the stupid little gimmick. He annoys me. But Rod Stewart was like that 20 million times back in the 70s, which is amazing, you know. But, so to my original point, you know, time changes perspective on artists. And when you're 40 years removed from certain things, or 39 years in this case, when you go back and listen to it, you're like, your perspectives obviously has changed. Like we're talking about Phil Collins, Can't Hurry Love was on there, and that's a cover of some Motown. So I can't. Who is it? It was in.
I can't really think.
I know it was one of the Motown groups before my time, but everybody knows the song. Can't hurry love, no, we just have to wait. You know, is it Diana Ross?
Yeah, I think so.
You know, in the Supremes. So anyway, that song came out, and I remember it being played on a lot of, you know, the adult contemporary supermarket radio, you know, guidance counselor, you know, PTA meeting type music. And I'm like, okay. And even now, if you were to hear it, it would be on like, you know, soft rock hits. And, you know, and basically telling you how accessible it is. Just completely marketed, completely different how it would be now. Now it would be kind of like, oh, he did a retro song, you know, because again, it was a cover. But realizing it came out in 1983, okay, you're looking at what else came out in 1983. You had Putting on the Ritz by Taco. That was a cover, and it was a retro, so it was actually before the rock era, if I recall correctly. I know it was, I want to say it was in the 40s. I can look it up real quick, but you get the point. It was real kind of like one of them swing, radic, you know, ring-a-ding-ding, Frank Sinatra, well, it wasn't Sinatra, but it was like, Putting on the Ritz, you know, hey, a hip cat type, you know, Dean Martin, that type of song. That was cover of that. All right. You had Always Something There to Remind Me covered, and that was originally started, like the 60s, whole Burt Bacharach, Dionne Warwick sung it amongst other artists, and it was covered. Billy Joel, his 1983 album, even though they were original songs, they're all more of a pastiche of years gone by, like covered, not covered, excuse me, but he did a Four Seasons pastiche, with the Longest Time, or Uptown Girls was kind of like a another throwback type song. And then, of course, he had a weaker material like Christy Lee, which is a 50s style song that I absolutely despised, and Easy Money, which was a, oh boy, it sounded like a Blues Brothers reject. Yeah, it was Blues Brothers 2000 quality. Huh?
That's the Christy Lee.
Oh, God, that song was anal leakage. It was the Lester Chip music. So, yeah, Susie and the Banshees covered Dear Prudence. So, even though my generation, because we were too close, it was in our generation. It came out while we were, 5 or 4 in our case. We thought it was like old people music, and like, oh, they did some old song. We just thought it was being lame. Look back at it now, there's no, actually, if you're in the year of 83, it was actually, everybody was doing it. It was the in thing. It was, if you wanted to go viral, to use the young people's term, oh my God, it made me sound old. To use the young people's terminology, that was, that's how you did it. I mean, Let's Dance, David Bowie, was a departure for what he normally did. He was usually more of an artistic, eccentric type of musician, and this was his electro pop album. But yet, even the first single, Let's Dance, even though it was more famous to me, everybody's like, oh, it's a pop song, typical 80s, boom, 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 real funky type sound, to the point that it was sampled by, P. Diddy, or Puff Daddy, or Daddy, Sucka, whatever his name is now, for a hit. And, about 10 years later, 14 years later, wow, completely missed that year up. 14 years later, I mean, for a reason, because it's a hell of a groove. But what people forget is the opening that like a pa pa pa, like opening part was more like a 50s, kind of like the pa 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 pa, little darling, wah 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 wah, that type of thing. Little Anthony and the Imperials, that was the group that did that song. Little Darling, it was more stuff like that. It had the electro pop, electro funk sound, but it was actually a throwback. So again, that's another song that had kind of like a retro type sound. Let's see, keep going. Girls Just Want to Have Fun was a cover of a song that came out in '77. Let's see, going to the, let's see, okay, I think that's about the best example I can give. Keep going a little bit more. Harlem Shuffle was a cover. Rolling Stone, again, I didn't know that back then. I thought it was a Rolling Stones original, but no, that was a cover. Innocent Man, Billy Joel, another original song that, again, was a pastiche of an old style song. So yeah, that was, again, we thought it was because we were too young back then to to appreciate. Well, no, we weren't even old enough to really get it when it came out. We just when we heard it a few years later, like 4 years later, we were at least about to approach junior high level, or not, getting like 5th grade, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like when we heard it, we just like, oh, that's old sounding music.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get the fact that was a trend. Because, honey, because trends die so quick. It's like you look at stuff like now. You tell somebody about the cinnamon challenge or the ice bucket challenge or stuff like that, and like, what the hell is that? You look at these old vines, stuff that was popular because stuff turns over so quickly. We act like that's a new thing. Obviously, that's not the case. Uh, it's always been like that. People act like this generation the first time things have ever gone viral, due to like trends going. I mean, that obviously there's trends in every generation, but like to the point like where it becomes cringy like very shortly after it was created.
Or how about when people name their kids like old sounding names?
Yeah, is that current now?
Yes, and it's kind of cringy. Or no, it's not current now, but it was like a few years ago.
Oh, see, I don't know.
And people were like naming their kids like old sounding names and stuff. And I just thought it was so cringy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, but that's a subject for a different time. But my point is, it's like, so it kind of makes me reevaluate everybody on there. Like I thought Phil Collins was just somebody who was he did like real soft music and stuff, and that the prevailing wisdom was when Peter Gabriel left, Genesis went from being like this prog rock, bombastic, but yet highly artistic band to like making disposable pop music. And then Phil Collins went solo and went even poppier and more middle of the road. And with 40 years hindsight, you look back at it now and actually know his solo stuff was kind of like the stuff that he was writing was like it didn't fit Genesis, but it was too good to throw away, so he got to put it out somehow. Like screw it, let me just put it out under my name. It wasn't necessarily originally meant to become that huge as it did. But like most of the songs that you go back and listen to is like, oh, those are Phil Collins hits. They were actually Genesis songs, like Tonight, That's All. I thought those were Phil Collins songs. They're Genesis songs. It just so happened to be Phil Collins sang them. No, I want you there, because I'm already kind of questioning the choice of me doing a couple snippets earlier. Hopefully this video stays up. And it's, Christ almighty, it's almost 5 o'clock, so yeah, we gotta wrap this up. But, in conclusion, guys, I know that kind of rambled, but I hope it's something to think about. You look at these, one more person I'm gonna talk about, Justin Bieber. Now, I gotta admit, as a person, I don't know how to read him, okay? Because I still remember Justin Bieber when he was first coming out and he had that stupid haircut. And it was like, baby, baby, woo. My generation still thinks of him like that. And it's been 14, 15 years. That's that number again. Since that was the case. Okay? It's been a very long time. He was one of the first YouTube, or one of the first people who became famous on YouTube and then had a music career after that. Or got discovered on YouTube. Okay, my generation thought it was hilarious. It was like, oh, we found him on the internet. Ooh, that's now this generation. You find him on the internet. Well, yeah, because we're too stuck in our ways that we don't realize that the internet's kind of like our generation's Star Search, or the millennials in American Idol, or Showtime at the Apollo was for my parents. Generation, and ours too, because we're an older part of our generation, or mid part. Anyway, excuse me. So, again, we still think him a certain way, and it's like he's not that. Now this generation thinks him cringy for other reasons, for doing songs where it's like his voice goes, that lonely song, whatever, lonely. He's like that, like he's an Eeyore or something, like he's a donkey, Or that, that thing he done that video in was it Ghost? And Jamie and I were always like,
Oh, yeah.
every time that we see that little snippet of that video, we're always doing that to kind of like kind of cap on it. It's funny, and to be honest, it's kind of endearing. Uh,
It's funny.
so yeah, so it's like they look at him completely different. You know, we hear earlier I heard Def Leppard Photograph, and I hear like, it's a really good pop song, and I forget in 1983 it was considered to be a rock song, not a pop song. And it just crossed over. And like you hear it immediately, I don't think of it as being like edgy. I just think of like, a drummer only having one arm and like
God dang it, why?
the singer being all a little pretty boy type, long hair and like wearing makeup and spandex and skipping around the stage, like a Brady kid or something, And it's like, again, I'm showing my age. I just made almost a Leave It to Brady. It was the Brady Bunch. I just made a damn Brady Kids reference, Leave It to Brady. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Something to think about. The people that you clown on now, years from now, you may go back and, like, they may be, like, your favorite people. And the people you thought were badass, you may be clowning on them. I'll put it like this. I remember when MC Hammer was considered to be cool.
Oh, yeah. He was a shiznit.
You look back at it now, like how is he even popular? I mean, really, it's like one of those things, the same reason why, like, I remember we hated, like, New Kids on the Block, made fun of it. If you like New Kids on the Block, you got beat up type thing, right? I mean, I wouldn't, but I don't beat anybody up, but I've seen that happen, and yet New Edition had street cred.
Well, look who was in the band.
Yeah, but you just listen to it, and do you hear a difference? Really, to be honest,
I know.
it's and they both danced kind of stupid like. So again, you'd be surprised. Hindsight changes things. All right, guys. Till next time.
Oh, damn it! I was gonna say something.
Make it quick, cause it's 4:53.
Oh shit! I forgot.
Ha! The baby took it from me. Till next time, guys. Good golf, good tennis, whatever makes you happy. This thing is starting to hurt again, so it's probably a good idea I stop talking. I don't know if you notice, I started lisping towards the end there. I started drooling like a fool. This thing's starting to, probably got to put a compress on it. But got some new music coming out Friday, so be on the lookout for that. And be sure and follow us on Spotify. Click the bell, wherever the hell it is. I don't know if I don't really do this stuff a lot. Please comment, like, subscribe, share, tell a friend. Be nice, be kind, rewind with all that kind of mess. Till next time, peace.